Have you ever wondered why, despite all your efforts, there's still something inside you that struggles to see your own beauty? Maybe you look at yourself in the mirror and think you're not what society calls attractive, or perhaps what you see doesn't match what you feel inside. And yet, somewhere beneath that surface, there's an invisible force, silent and powerful, that draws attention without you even trying. It's as if a mysterious energy is quietly radiating from you, even when you're not aware of it. But why is it that, so often, we fail to recognize our own attractiveness? Why do most of us have a hard time seeing the very thing that makes us compelling? Maybe it's because of the stories we've been conditioned to believe about ourselves, or the mental filters that distort how we view our own worth. Sometimes it's a matter of deep-rooted insecurities, fears, or expectations implanted from our earliest years. We hide behind masks, trying to fit into these externally imposed standards of beauty, simply because we think that's how we get approval and love. If this resonates with you, know this: you're far from alone. And those doubts, those voices inside your head telling you you're not enough, are common. But here's the truth. Real attraction, the kind that truly captivates others, doesn't rely on superficial appearances or social standards. It comes from within. It's rooted in authenticity, in a genuine presence, and in an energy that can't be faked or forced. Imagine a soft glow, slowly illuminating in a dark room, a glow that's subtle, yet impossible to ignore once it's turned. Oh no, that's your true essence. Despite all your doubts and insecurities, that light is already within you, quietly waiting to be recognized. And when you start understanding who you really are, beyond the masks, beyond the self-criticisms, you'll see that attractiveness is much more than just skin deep. And here's a provocative truth. Many people who seem to be beautiful, in the conventional sense, aren't necessarily more attractive than someone with a quiet confidence or genuine authenticity. In fact, a lot of the most magnetic individuals don't follow traditional standards of beauty. They simply are. Their appeal comes from an invisible energy that radiates from their core, a sense of self-awareness and inner strength that's felt rather than analyzed. So why do so many of us struggle to see this in ourselves? Why do we overlook the very qualities that could make us incredibly attractive? The answer often lies in the stories we tell ourselves, doubts that cloud our self-perception, and the internal narrative that whispers, "You're not enough, you don't look right, or you're not interesting enough." But what if that's not the truth? What if the real secret to attractiveness doesn't depend on meeting someone else's standards, but on embracing your own true self? What if your worth, the pure, authentic radiance you carry, is already shining, just waiting for you to acknowledge it? Let me ask you, have you ever noticed someone who walks into a room and seems to glow without trying? Someone who doesn't have to pose or show off, they just are. Their presence commands attention, not because of what they wear or how perfect they look, but because of an inner confidence, an effortless authenticity. That's the power of true attraction. It's rooted in energy, not appearance. And here's a secret worth considering. Many of the most attractive people aren't aware of how compelling they really are. They don't need filters, fake smiles, or manipulation. They simply radiate their genuine self, and that's why, even if you feel invisible, unremarkable, or uncertain about your looks, you are inherently attractive. Now, I invite you to imagine this scene. A person who enters a social space, no makeup, no elaborate outfit, just confident, calm, and quietly authentic. They move naturally, without trying too hard. Within seconds, you sense something is different about them, even if you can't quite put your finger on it. There's an aura, a magnetic energy that draws people in without effort. That's the power of being true to yourself, of owning your imperfections and embracing your inner worth. And here's the big question. Are you willing to recognize this in yourself? Are you ready to see that your attractiveness isn't about trying to fit some external mold, but about truly loving and accepting who you are? Because that's where real transformation begins. Carl Jung famously said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And it's true. The first step toward recognizing your own attractiveness is the courage to look inward, to accept every part of yourself, your shadows, your imperfections, your doubts. When you do that, something remarkable happens. Your energy shifts, your confidence deepens. You begin to radiate a subtle but unmistakable magnetism that no one can ignore. Most of the time, we're so busy trying to prove ourselves to meet impossible standards or filter our images to look attractive that we forget our natural power. But real allure isn't manufactured. It's an organic expression of your true self. And the more you hide it, the dimmer that light becomes. Today, I want to challenge you. Consider that your unrecognized attractiveness is already there, waiting to be fully embraced. You don't need to change who you are. You need to see yourself clearly. The parts of you you've hidden or dismissed, your unique quirks, your vulnerability, your authenticity, are the very qualities that make you compelling. And this isn't about vanity. It's about self-awareness, about owning your presence whether you're alone, among friends, or in a crowd. Because when you accept and love yourself, effortless attractiveness naturally follows. So I ask again, do you see your own beauty? Are you able to accept that you're more attractive than you think, regardless of how you judge yourself? Because the truth is, your most compelling magnetism comes from a place of inner truth, and that truth is already alive within you. And finally, a little encouragement. If you're still doubting your own attractiveness, start with one simple step today. Look in the mirror and find one thing you genuinely appreciate about yourself. No matter how small, recognize that trait as part of your unique sparkle, because it's there and it's powerful. If this message resonates with you, be sure to comment below what you think has been blocking you from seeing your own beauty. Share your story, knowing that, once you start recognizing your own worth, that light will be impossible to hide. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this video with someone who needs to hear that they're already attractive, just as they are. Because true attraction begins with self-acceptance, and that journey starts now. Sign 1. People get nervous around you. One of the most subtle and powerful signs that you are radiating attractiveness, even without realizing it, is the way others react to your presence. Often when someone is genuinely magnetic, their aura is so authentic and compelling that it disrupts the natural flow of those around them. They might not even notice it consciously, yet their body language gives it away. Think about someone who walks into a room, seemingly unbothered, yet suddenly, those nearby start to feel uneasy or awkward. They might fidget, cross and uncross their arms, avoid eye contact, or speak faster than usual. It's not necessarily a sign of disinterest. It's quite the opposite. It's a sign that your energy throws others off balance because it reveals a truth they may not be ready to see. Carl Jung often spoke about the power of the unconscious influence. When you carry a certain confidence, authenticity, or unseen aura, it challenges others' own self-perceptions. They feel that spark, a quiet invitation that perhaps they're not enough, or that your presence somehow highlights their own insecurities. That discomfort is actually a compliment. Your energy is so genuine that it reveals what's hidden inside other people. Sign 2. Repeated glances, even without you noticing. Another clear sign is when people keep looking at you, sometimes even more than once, without any obvious reason. It may seem simple or insignificant, but the truth is, those lingering or repeated glances are a hidden signal of attraction. Carl Jung believed that our unconscious often communicates far beyond what words or actions can express. When someone looks at you twice, it's like a silent acknowledgement that you emit an aura that cannot be dismissed. It's that magnetic energy, whether in a social setting, at work, or even walking down the street, that leaves impressions no one fully understands. And the remarkable part, you might not even realize you're giving off that energy. It's invisible, yet universally felt. Even in casual environments, if you notice someone stealing a second glance or sneaking glances without the context of an obvious flirtation, it's a sign that your natural authenticity and energy are deeply compelling. Sign 3. You underestimate your own appeal, yet receive compliments. Constantly. Have you ever felt like you weren't particularly attractive that day, yet someone still compliments you sincerely? Maybe it's a stranger at the grocery store remarking on your smile, or a co-worker saying, "There's something about you I can't quite explain, but you're fascinating." Here's the paradox. The very fact that you don't see your own attractiveness makes it even more potent. When you're not trying to impress or hide your vulnerabilities, your authentic energy shines through. Because Carl Jung said that what you reject in yourself, others will see as your greatest strength. Your unawareness of your magnetism actually intensifies it. Many women underestimate their own appeal because they focus too much on perceived flaws or compare themselves to idealized standards. But if you're constantly receiving genuine compliments despite your own doubts, it's clear evidence that your energy is intrinsic and magnetic, radiating from your true self, often without you knowing it. Sign 4. You seek out others for little reasons, yet they come to you naturally. Do people often seek your advice, ask for help, or find excuses to talk to you, even when you don't purposefully seek their attention? If yes, it's a powerful sign that your presence leaves an impact beyond physical appearance. Carl Jung emphasized that authenticity is magnetic because it's rooted in inner harmony. When you are comfortable in your own skin, even your simplest actions, such as helping someone or engaging in small talk, become a natural invitation for connection. Men and women are instinctively drawn to genuine warmth and confidence. When you embody that, others will find reasons to be around you. When your energy is calm, authentic, and aligned with who you truly are, you naturally pull people in without trying. That's true attraction, something that springs from your inner state, not from superficial efforts. Sign 5. Unfounded criticisms or negative looks from others. Strangely enough, some of the most attractive people, especially women, unknowingly trigger insecurity in others. That manifests as passive-aggressive comments, strange looks, or even criticisms that seem unwarranted. Why does this happen? Because Carl Jung taught that nothing defeats the shadow like awareness. When you're radiating authentic confidence, regardless of your appearance or how much effort you put into looking perfect, it can threaten those who feel insecure about themselves. So if you find that some women look at you strangely or criticize you for no apparent reason, it might actually be a sign of your power. You're unknowingly standing out in a way that exposes other people's insecurities. That anger or resentment isn't about you. It's about their own inner struggles, a projection of their discomfort with their own perceived inadequacies. Sign 6. Your absence is noticeable and felt. Sometimes the most magnetic people are those whose absence leaves a void. You might think it's about physical presence, but it's really about the energy you leave behind. Carl Jung reminded us that a meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. When you radiate authenticity, your presence influences others, even if you're not intentionally trying to be impactful. If people in your life have ever told you that your departure changed the entire atmosphere, such as the room feeling tinged with silence or conversations quieting without your input, it's a sign that your inner radiance leaves a mark. Your natural beauty isn't just physical, it's emotional and energetic, creating a ripple effect. Sign 7. Men in relationships find you more than others do. One of the subtler yet most telling signs of your natural magnetism is how men in relationships, whether they're committed or casually involved, often find themselves drawn to you. It's not that you're intentionally seeking attention from other people's partners, but your energy has a way of radiating that unspoken allure, something that's impossible to ignore, even by those who are already committed elsewhere. Carly. Jung emphasized that true attractiveness isn't superficial. It's rooted deeply in authenticity and inner harmony. When you've cultivated a sense of confidence and inner peace, that energy naturally highlights your uniqueness. And that's precisely what makes certain men, even those in relationships, suddenly glance a little longer at you, feel their attention pulled in your direction, or even steal a quick, shy look when they think no one's watching. It's very important to note, this sign doesn't mean you're trying to attract attention from others' partners. Instead, it's a sign that your authentic energy triggers a subconscious recognition. They see something real and compelling, something that makes them momentarily forget their commitments. The truth is that attractiveness is a force that can influence even the most stable minds, especially when you're simply being yourself, calm, relaxed, and authentically present. And the more you own that energy, the more others pick up on it intuitively, regardless of the situation. Sign 8. You get attention on social media, even when you're not trying. In today's digital world, many women notice an interesting phenomenon. Even without actively seeking attention, they receive a flood of likes, comments, or direct messages. No elaborate photos, no provocative poses, just natural, candid moments. Yet the response is overwhelming. Why does this happen? Because real attraction isn't manufactured. It's transmitted through your natural authenticity, your gaze, your energy, and your presence. When you're comfortable in your skin, that aura crosses screens and devices, generating vibrations that resonate far beyond the physical realm. As Carl Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. When we embrace who we truly are, that honesty shines through in every posture, every photo, every story. And other people sense that depth and genuineness instantly, even if they don't consciously realize it. Many women underestimate this powerful, invisible magnetism. They believe that attractiveness requires constant curation or attention-seeking behavior. But the truth is, the deepest attraction flows from within, and when you display your authentic self, that's what truly captivates others, especially in the vast space of social media. Sign 9. Men struggle to understand their own reactions toward you. This is perhaps one of the most profound signs that you are radiating attractiveness without even trying. Men often become confused around you. They show interest, compliment your energy, seek to get closer, and then pull away suddenly, only to come back again. It's as if they're caught in an internal battle, overwhelmed by their attraction, and unsure about how to handle him. Carl Jung described this phenomenon beautifully when he said, "Often, the greatest act of courage is to simply accept yourself." Men struggle because they see in you something deeper, something magnetic, that they might not fully understand or feel capable of handling. It's not that they don't like you. It's that your authentic energy disrupts their usual routines. It awakens unconscious desires they might have buried, and that can be intimidating. That back and forth, mixed signals, or fleeting disconnection is a reflection of how strongly your inward truth affects others. Your natural magnetism causes them to question themselves, what they want, what they feel, and whether they're ready for something real. The more comfortable you are with your authenticity, the more confusing and compelling you become to those around you. Sign 10. You don't fully recognize your own power. Many women who embody authentic confidence underestimate their magnetism because they are unaware of their own strength. They move through life, questioning themselves, doubting their beauty, and comparing themselves to others. Yet, unconsciously, they radiate a quiet but relentless attractiveness. This mismatch, doubting yourself while still drawing attention, is perhaps the most paradoxical sign of true inner beauty. Carl Jung emphasized that what is rejected in ourselves is often what others see as our greatest strength. When women dismiss their own attractiveness, they don't realize that their natural confidence, their authentic expression, and their core energy are already impacting others. The truth is, your power is often invisible to you because it's rooted in your inner alignment. When you accept who you are, flaws, quirks, vulnerabilities, that acceptance radiates outward. People feel this authenticity, and that's what makes you irresistibly attractive. Sign 11. Your absence is felt stronger than your presence. Here's a paradox. Some of the most magnetic people are those whose absence creates a void. When you're gone, the energy you leave behind continues to echo in ways you may not realize. Carl Jung believed that the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. When they react, both are transformed. When your presence influences others so profoundly that your departure leaves a noticeable silence, an absence that's almost felt physically, then you've tapped into a level of genuine attraction that's rooted in that unseen, powerful energy. People remember how you made them feel instead of just what you did or said. Your aura remains, influencing their thoughts, their mood, and their subconscious long after you've left. That kind of impact isn't superficial. It's pure authenticity, radiating from within. Sign 12. You still effectively attract others, even when you're not trying. Finally, perhaps the most profound sign that you are inherently attractive, regardless of your doubts, is that others are naturally drawn to you with no effort on your part. You might not even realize it, but the simple act of existing fully as yourself attracts attention. Whether you're walking in the street, working, or just relaxing at home, the energy you emit, confident, calm, authentic, creates a magnetic field that pulls people in. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. When you accept and embrace yourself honestly, your intrinsic magnetism comes to the surface effortlessly. People notice your warmth, your presence, your genuine nature, sometimes even without you noticing. And that's the most beautiful part. The truth that your most irresistible quality isn't something you try to produce. It's already within you, silent, steady, waiting for your recognition. If you've been doubting your attractiveness, these signs serve as powerful reminders. It's not about how you look, but about how you are. The real beauty comes from authenticity, self-acceptance, and the courage to be yourself, just as Jung said, to accept oneself completely. Now, I invite you to reflect. Which of these signs resonate most with your experience? Which ones do you see in your life right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments because your story might inspire others to finally see their own truth. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found value here. Because true attraction isn't superficial. It's an inward journey, one that transforms how you see yourself and how others perceive you.